gentlemen,
This is 3 Count Review.
do I have everybody's attention now?
Welcome, everyone, to 3 Count Review. I am KO, a.k.a. Howard J. Dingers, and this is the most must-hear wrestling podcast in history. This is 3 Count Review, the Wednesday Night War edition of 3 Count Review. I know I say 3 Count Review a lot, it's fine. Wednesday nights are officially, Wednesday is officially my favorite day of the week. Watching I saw it this week instead of the first 2 weeks where I watched both shows at the same time. Terrible ideas. This week I watched AEW and then I recorded NXT and I watched that directly after. So I actually watched both shows in their full. I watched 4 plus hours of wrestling tonight. But it was just incredible. AEW was phenomenal. It was so fun. Every match was good. I'm just in awe of how much fun I had watching it. It was so fun. And NXT was NXT. It was so fun. Incredible matches. There were a couple squash matches, a couple established, which is what we're gonna get most weeks. That's the thing with NXT. It's still a developmental thing, and it's still developmental. So you're still gonna get. It's not a main roster show like AEW. It's not a main roster show like SmackDown or Raw. We're still gonna get them trying out new things, them trying to push some other people to see how over they can be, trying out different moves and entrances and that kind of stuff, squash matches. There's going to be a lot of that still. And that's okay. It still works. I still enjoy them because you kind of get a gauge of who they're pushing. Whereas AEW can just throw people out there and say, both of these guys can have a really good match and, here's who's going to win. That's kind of who we're going with. It's two different feels to shows, and they're both just incredibly fun to watch, both in their own right, both in their own special ways. So I'm going to start with AEW this week because that's how I took my notes. That's probably how it's going to be from now on. I'm probably going to watch AEW live and record NXT, which means I'm not going to live tweet anymore because I don't want to see spoilers for NXT. So, but yeah, AEW... because it's main roster, I guess. I don't know. I just want to watch AEW live. It's been fun. It's been fun to watch. I'm all in. Anyway, let's begin because we have a lot of wrestling to go through. We start the night with SCU versus Best Friends, the first round matchup in the tag title tournament. And while SCU is coming out, the Lucha Bros attack SCU from behind and take out Christopher Daniels with a Pentagon hit his package pile driver onto the stage, and Christopher Daniels had to be stretchered out. So Scorpio Sky was out there, and he said he was going to take his place. Scorpio Sky was in his street clothes. He didn't plan on wrestling. He's in pants with a belt and sneakers. So this was interesting. Interesting little storyline where Scorpio, last week said, or maybe it was I think it was 2 weeks ago actually, but he said, I want it to be Kazarian and Daniels because you guys are the team. You guys are the veterans. You have won championships together. So I want you guys to go out and do this. I'll sit this one out. But now Daniels is out, so Scorpio had to step up. So cool. I'm very interested to see where this goes because during the match, it's a fantastic match between these two. Absolutely love Best Friends. Trent Beretta's amazing. Absolutely love Scorpio Sky and Frankie Kazarian. They're both great. This match was so fun. At one point, Scorpio, I think he was getting his foot bitten by not Trent. Who's the other one? Why can't I think? Chuck Taylor. There it is. He was getting it. Chuck was biting his foot with it because it's a shoe. It doesn't have the padding that a boot would have. and then he took the shoe off. Well, and then a great sequence of moves from Scorpio, just a lot of kicks and everything, and a big suicide dive. He then goes back in the ring, and he takes the other shoe off, and he throws it in the crowd. And then someone threw it back into the ring, and that got bigger pop. Scorpio was so over here, and it was incredible. It was incredible to watch. It was so fun. They absolutely loved Scorpio. Eventually, after a lot of near falls, SCU won with a powerbomb leg drop combination. SCU, Scorpio Sky, and Frankie Kazarian moving on in the tag tournament to face, I believe they're going to, they're facing the Dark Order in the semifinals next week. Should be okay. I'm rooting for SCU in that match. I'm not a huge fan of Dark Order. I saw them live. I wasn't a big fan. We're going to keep the tag team train rolling as we have Santana and Ortiz making their AEW debut in the ring against John Silver and Alex Reynolds. I had to look up these guys' names because either they didn't show it or I missed it. I don't know. One of the dudes, again, don't know who it was, looked like Adrian Neville from NXT. Yes, I'm not calling him Pac for a reason because it looks like Neville from NXT. It's really funny. But anyway, as I wrote here, this is the first time I'm seeing Santana and Ortiz in a match. I unfortunately was not able to see them before. I never stumbled across them. My God, have I been missing out on Santana and Ortiz. These two are great. And as I have written here, this tag team division in AEW is straight up phenomenal. Oh my good. All of these tag teams are just phenomenal. Their finisher, this was a squash match establish, that's the word I'm looking for, to establish Santana and Ortiz. Their finisher, I believe I heard Street Sweeper, kind of like that, is a blockbuster powerbomb combination off the blockbuster from the top rope into a powerbomb for the win. Like I said, Santana and Ortiz looked great. After the match, Chris Jericho came on the big screen and said that Santana and Ortiz did exactly what he said they would do, what Jericho said they would do. And he says that Santana and Ortiz would like to beat the crap out of the Young Bucks next week. My only note on that, Jericho was great. His promo here was fantastic. Le Champion. Yeah. Bucks versus Santana and Ortiz will be phenomenal. One of them, I don't know, because it was off screen too. It was during the Jericho promo. One of them was just screaming, the best, the best, the best, literally through the entire promo. And I kind of liked it. I don't know. It was probably annoying to some people. I kind of enjoyed it. He just kept saying it the whole time until they went to commercial. And then, good stuff. Then they showed a video package about Cody's personal life being affected by the title match against Jericho. He pours his heart and soul into this kind of stuff. They had Brandy talking about how she knew she would kind of lose him in between the time before the title match here because of how much he wants that title, how much he's going to invest in this. MJF had a couple promos. Diamond Dallas Page, JR, Tony Schiavone. Now for some reason, it's out of my head. Anyway, MJF at one point said Cody wants to prove that him leaving the other place was not a mistake and that he's a top guy. I like that. Absolutely love this great video package. It was great. The production values on the vignettes in this company are absolutely incredible. The production is top notch. It's really, really great. Then we had an AEW Women's Championship match. Riho defending against Britt Baker. The Doctor will see you now. I'm a huge fan of Britt Baker. And Riho's growing on me. I've seen her, obviously, the last 3 weeks she's had matches. She's growing on me. Obviously, didn't see her before I went all out. So, as a new face, but looking at you're watching her, she's been very impressive. I've seen her 4 times now, once live. But anyway, the belt is way too big, or way too small, I should say. The belt is way too small. But as I was typing that, JR literally said the belt was too big for Riho. Come on, JR. That was pretty funny. So the story of the match, which commentary did a great job of telling throughout the match, was that Britt isn't that big. Like, she doesn't have a size advantage against most people, but she has this height and length advantage, as most people do, against Riho. And she was using that length and the height to ground Riho and kind of slow down the match. It was a really good story. And the commentators, it wasn't just the in-ring that told the story, it was the commentators that were telling the story as well. I wrote here, I think Britt Baker is the only wrestler in the world that targets the mouth. Which, I mean, it's really weird to think about, but it was just really funny to think about. So I don't know. There were some chunky parts of this match, a little sloppy at times. I don't know. Maybe these two just haven't wrestled before. I know Britt's fairly new in the game. Riho's been wrestling for a while, since she was like 9 or something like that. So I don't know. Britt, as big of a fan as I am of Britt, she was a little sloppy in this match a couple times. But Britt went for the lockjaw. That's her combination. It's a submission hold. It's like the Rings of Saturn, but then she goes for the mandible claw at the same time. Riho did this great thing where she was just closing her mouth and like not letting Britt get in there for the mandible claw. It was really good. But then Britt was so focused, again, great job by the commentary to tell the story. As Britt was focused on getting the mandible claw in, Riho moved it back, countered it into a roll-up, wins, and retains her AEW Women's Championship. I loved this match. The ending was great. It was very fun. I love both of these now. I love both of them now. Rio's great. We had an update on Christopher Daniels that he's up and moving. He is okay. They showed the bump again, and it looked like it could have been bad, but I don't think it was. I think this is all very scripted. You know, it's very kayfabe. So hopefully he is okay. Sounds like he is, so that's good. So then we had another tag title tournament match, Jungle Express versus the Lucha Bros. And I was like, awesome. Love Jungle Boy, love the Lucha Bros, and I love Luchasaurus. So I'm very excited for this match. As it turns out, Marco Stunt and Jungle Boy were wrestling this match. And my first thought was, why no Luchasaurus? And before I could finish typing that, the commentary team did a very good job of letting us know that he had a non-contact hip injury, and that he is actually at a local medical facility getting that looked at the time of the match. So hopefully Luchasaurus is okay, because that sounds, I don't know if that's, I don't think that would be scripted. I don't think they would deprive us of Luchasaurus on purpose. So hopefully he's okay. Luchasaurus is amazing. Want him back. Anyway, so we private party at ringside, because they are going to face the winner of this match. So it was Jungle Boy and Marco Stunt coming out hot, because the Lucha Bros weren't taking Stunt seriously. It was a really good start to the match where, you know, Penta was like shrugging him off like, come on, I'm wrestling this dude. What's going on? But Stunt and Lucha and Jungle Boy had some really, really good offense. I absolutely love Jungle Boy. He's so good. He's one of my favorites in AEW right now. Him and God, everyone in the tag team match that's coming up too. And Sammy Guevara. I love this roster. I really do. I love a lot of wrestlers right now. I need to actually lock down who are my favorites. Rey Fenix is phenomenal on the ropes. And I know this is probably said every time he wrestles, and I know I've probably said this in the past, but good God, it looks like he's falling and he missteps, but he's actually just going down in the middle rope on purpose. He comes back up, and then he is just great. Pentagon hit a pump handle, like a pump handle pile driver almost on Marco Stunt, and Stunt kicked out of that. Great spot. God, the slap sounds from the Lucha Bros are ridiculous. Penta then held up Stunt with one hand into a super kick to Phoenix. Like he was holding him up like that. It was like a military press. and then he just kind of let go of one hand, and he was just holding him up, and then he threw him with one arm into Phoenix, who super kicked him out of the air. Awesome spot. And then there was a Marco Stunt hit a 450 on Phoenix, followed by a shooting star press from a standing shooting star press from Jungle Boy. Phoenix kicked out of that. And then Pentagon hit the arm breaker. It's a good looking arm breaker. I don't think it didn't actually break his arm, but on Marco. And then they hit I believe what their finisher is called, the Cero Miedo, Zero Fear. Pile driver to Stunt, and the Lucha Bros win. Lucha Bros versus Private Party. Yes. Now, I don't know if Luchasaurus's injury affected this match and like the outcome, because it looks like they're setting up Lucha Bros versus SCU for something. Oh man, that means I would think Dark Order is gonna whatever. But yeah, I expect Private Party to win. I expect Private Party to win this tournament, to be honest. I think they're the right pick. I think they were made into stars in their first match last week against the Young Bucks. But that match against the Lucha Bros next week is going to be phenomenal. Oh, I cannot wait. Speaking of tag team matches, we'll keep the train rolling. Jon Moxley and Pac versus Hangman Page and Kenny Omega. I love every single one of this is my note, word for word. I love every single one of these men. So not many notes on this. I'm going to watch this match closely, and I did. I sat back and I just watched. I wasn't trying to take notes. So if you would, I'm not going to try to explain this match. Please go and watch this match. It was so fun, just so incredible. Storytelling throughout. It was awesome. This is awesome chant. I couldn't agree more. So here's what the ending was. I have to explain this part because it's a little contrast. So Moxley and Ambrose had a standoff. They both went outside the ring. Did I say Moxley and Omega? I don't know. So Moxley then grabbed his barbed wire bat. Kenny grabs his barbed wire broom because he's the cleaner. And they went into the match. They tried to use it on each other. Hello? Hi. Okay. Sorry, interruption at the studio there. Anyway, they did not use the weapons on each other. Pac came into the ring, and actually the ref turned his back for a little bit because he was like, I don't want any part of this. And Moxley hit Jericho with the bat. But then Pac came in and took the weapons and threw them out, and he was like, what are you doing, dude? I want to win this match. Don't get yourself disqualified. So then Moxley just gave him the two fingers. Those are my ring fingers because I don't know what I can do on YouTube, whatever. But anyway, he gave him the two fingers, gave him the paradigm shift. He left. He just left. Moxley was like, all right, bye. And then buckshot lariat, V-trigger knee, deadeye. Page pins Pac. Page and Kenny win. Now, I don't think it was the right call to have Kenny win this match. Even though it was Hangman winning the match, I don't think it was the right call for him to win. The storyline right now with his losing streak is a really good storyline that they can tell. I'm sure they can pull this off as like it was a tag team win. He's still losing single matches. But still, I'm not a fan of the win here for Kenny. I like how they did it, and it set up a match for next week too. They announced Pac versus Moxley for next week. Can't wait for that. But, still, I would have liked to see Kenny lose here because I like the storyline that they've been telling, The other matches that they announced for next week, both semifinal matches, Dark Order versus SCU and Lucha Brothers versus Private Party next week. Also, they're in Pittsburgh, so Britt Baker, who's from Pittsburgh, is going to be there. Britsburg, they're calling it. And the Young Bucks are in action. I'm guessing against Santana and Ortiz, but I don't know. But they're in action. Always up for a Young Bucks match. So then the main event of the night, Chris Jericho versus Darby Allin in a Philadelphia street fight for the AEW Championship. Now, one big complaint about this match. It was announced. I don't know if it was announced or if it was the commentary, but it was said that rope breaks still apply in this match. Now, This is something we've got on WWE before in steel cage matches where there's no disqualifications. Why would you have what? How can you enforce rope breaks? What happens if Jericho were to hold on to the walls of Jericho for too long for a 5 count on a rope break? You're going to disqualify him in a Philadelphia street fight. I don't like that at all. I rip on WWE for this kind of stuff, so I have to hold them to the same standard. I did not like that one bit. Not one bit. There's ways around that. If you want to do those kind of spots where he gets to the ropes, have him pull himself out of the ring. There's ways around it. There's definitely ways around it. To make this feel like a big fight, Jericho came out in his Painmaker paint. Love it. Big fight feel. And Darby had his face paint, but it went all the way down the side, like down his neck and the side of his body. And it was white and just black lettering, champ, 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 everywhere. His skateboard even said AEW champ on it. Super cool. Why the rope breaks, I wrote. Darby came out really hot. Apparently Jericho's been wrestling for 29 years. Wow. Anyway, that was just something that I heard in commentary. Darby Allin looked absolutely great in this match. A lot of near falls for him. Jericho was really putting him over as like he almost won a couple times. Jericho then taped Darby Allin's hands behind his back. Allin had some great no-handed moves, like moves without his hands. And then as Darby is on the top rope about to do probably a moonsault, I think, still with his hands taped behind his back, Jake Hager runs out of nowhere and punches Darby off the top rope, walls of Jericho, and Darby submits, and Jericho retains. I'm okay with this finish. Jake Hager's awesome. It protects Darby. Darby looked great, but still le champion, Chris Jericho. The Inner Circle comes out with a little bit of the bubbly to celebrate. Good ending. Great show. Absolutely great show. It flew by. I loved watching this. I loved every single match. This was amazing. AEW was awesome. But now, for the podcast listeners, taking off my AEW sweatshirt. And I got my Ciampa t-shirt on because it's NXT time, boys. Visual gag for the podcast, I know. We start off NXT with Tommaso Ciampa versus Angel Garza. Great to see Ciampa back in and okay, so I'll start off by saying most of these matches, I did not take too many notes on the actual match itself because I just sat back and watched because I'm enjoying wrestling right now, which I cannot say for Mondays and Fridays. On Wednesdays, I just sit back and watch wrestling. So there's probably not going to be too much of like this happened and then this happened. And that's probably not going to be my podcast for a lot. It's most likely going to be I'm going to say what I liked about the match. I'm going to describe the ending, and I'm going to elaborate on the story. That's what this is going to be. Every time Ciampa was doing something, huge reactions from the crowd. Great spot. Again, these are the kind of spots that I'm going to write down. Ciampa, because Garza did his spot where he took his pants off, and he's got his wrestling gear underneath it. But Ciampa, he hit Garza with a running knee into the corner. And then he was stomping on Garza's pants, and then he put Garza's pants on the bottom rope, and then he did the running knee to Garza's pants. Phenomenal. Just awesome spot. Draping DDT out of nowhere for the win. Like I said, great to see Ciampa back in the ring. I absolutely loved him. Fast-paced, really fun stuff. He was really selling the neck on a lot of stuff, too, which scared me, but he knows what he's doing. All of a sudden, Undisputed Era come out, shocked the system. Roddy had what I wrote down as his own dreamlight glasses. I'll get to that in a sec. Uis around the ring. Ciampa prepares for them, grabs a chair and his crutch. But then Kyle O'Reilly goes to Morrow at commentary, and he throws a USB drive at Morrow. And he says, take a look at that. And he leaves, gives Cole the thumbs up, and they leave. And Cole waves goodbye to Ciampa. Okay, so then we come back from commercial. Morrow says we figured out what's on the thing. It's a video. Here's what we got. And it's Undisputed Era backstage before they came out and did that. I don't know how they got it onto the USB so quickly. But they attacked They didn't show the attack, but they beat up Velveteen Dream, and then they had Velveteen laying on something. I don't even know, but they had him laying on a pile of something, unconscious. Roddy was screaming in his face. That's why Roddy had Velveteen's glasses. They must have been broken or something. Awesome stuff. And they basically just said, this is what happens when you mess with us. And they called out Ciampa, they called out Balor, they called out Dream. Yeah, and Dream was just unconscious. So, yeah, more on that later. We then had Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, the 1-2, versus Imperium. Fabian Eichner and Marcel Bartel in honor of Oney Lorcan. All of my notes for this match are in caps lock. First note, Imperium's music is fantastic, and I love it. Try to fight me on that. I absolutely love their theme song. Fabian Eichner, double springboard moonsault, and Oney kicked out at 1. Great spot. This was a fast-paced, hard-hitting match, and I absolutely loved it. I love the 1-2. I love Imperium. European uppercut into a powerbomb. Imperium beats the 1-2. Awesome. Awesome stuff. Very fun. Very much enjoyed this. Then we had a Gargano interview with Kathy Kelly. Kathy asked Gargano about Ciampa, and he said he doesn't know how he feels about Ciampa being back, but he said he'll know when he sees him face to face. Teasing, planting seeds for the eventual Gargano versus Ciampa match. I cannot wait. Then Hideo Shirai versus Kaden Carter. Good match. I actually quite enjoy Kaden Carter. She's very good in the ring. Don't know what her character is. Don't think she has one. But Io's phenomenal as well. So this was a very fun match. Nasty looking German suplex where it looked like Kaden was dropped on her head. But Io, of course, hit a moonsault on the money for the win. Io's great. Io then cut a promo after this match. And all she said was, not Rhea, not Bianca, Shayna, I want to face you. This brought out Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley comes out, and she says, Io, she grabs the mic from Io. She says, Io, next week, I get to shut up Bianca Belair. But if you ever spit my name out of your mouth again, I'll have no problem shutting you up too. This was awesome. I cannot wait for Rhea versus Bianca Belair. I cannot wait for what I'm assuming and what I'm hoping is a Rhea Ripley versus Io Shirai match. Yes. Give me all of that. I am here for both of those matches. So then we had Kathy Kelly interviewing William Regal. He had an update on Dream. He said Dream cannot compete in his North American Championship match next week against Roderick Strong. So William Regal said, Roddy, you still have to defend the title next week, and you will be defending it against the winner of Keith Lee versus Dominik Dijakovic. And that match is next. Awesome. Great stuff. I heard someone talking about this match and saying how there needs to be some stakes added to this match. It can't just be, here's a match. This was awesome. This was a great way to do it. I absolutely love it. I could watch these two wrestle for hours. I had so much fun watching this match. I'm probably going to rewatch this match when I get home. It was phenomenal. Again, did not take too much notes on this. Go watch this match. I'm not even going to tell you any spots in this match except for the very finish. Go watch this match. You're back. You watched the match. Cool. Roderick Strong ran in and hit them both with the title belt, so it was a no contest. Basically, they both got disqualified, I guess. Regal immediately from the big pedestal in the back there was all of a sudden on the mic, and he said, nice try, Roddy. I figured you'd do something like that. So next week, you'll be defending your North American Championship against both Keith Lee and Dominik Dijakovic in a triple threat match. Awesome. Throwing Roderick in this mix is going to be amazing. I absolutely cannot wait. And what's going to happen are these two are going to get so focused on each other that Roderick's going to steal a pin and retain. I love this. I absolutely love this. Yes. And you keep them still tied. They're still 1-1. I love it. They can eventually have a takeover match. Oh, I'm so excited. Love it. I love it. I love it. Then we had Matt Riddle versus Bronson Reed. This was just to reestablish Riddle. Decent match. Reed looked good. But Riddle won with what looked like a reverse neutralizer. So instead of face down, it was face in, like a pile driver pose, but then he slammed him on his back. There's a name for it. I can't think of it. This was good. Then they showed Kushida backstage with a doctor, and he said he re-aggravated an injury in his wrist, and he's going to be out for about a month. That's sad, but there's enough talent where we'll probably forget about him, which isn't a bad thing, and he'll come back and he'll be fine. We then got Tegan Knox, one of my favorites right now. Tegan's amazing. Her and Rhea Ripley are, I think, my two favorite women's wrestlers in the world right now. Tegan Knox versus Tanyara Conti, who is very underrated, by the way. Again, I just watched this match because I love Tegan. And Tegan won with the Shining Wizard. Pretty short match. Dakota Kai came out to celebrate with her. And as someone was about to interview Tegan, Shayna interrupted. Shayna Baszler, NXT Women's Champion Shayna Baszler, came out and asks Tegan if she wants to throw her hat in the ring too. Everyone's challenging me for a championship. Why don't you throw your name in the ring too? Well, you haven't earned a title shot yet. Good stuff. Shayna had a really good line where she said, ask your friend Dakota what it's like to be in the ring with me. Great callback to their feud. I think this feels like it's going to end up being a War Games match with all these women. Oh, what if it's like an 8-woman, every woman for themselves War Games match for the championship. Oh, if that's what they're going for, this is going to be phenomenal. Whatever they're going to do, I love it. Finn Balor video package. Next week, my future will be my past. All right, cool. Finn Balor's coming back next week. I just want to see Finn Balor in NXT again. Then we had Boa versus Killian Dane because of what happened last week when Killian attacked Boa after the Cameron Grimes match. I don't know. I wasn't too into this match. They haven't been doing Killian Dane very well lately. And Boa, they've done nothing with Boa. So Dane won with the powerbomb, or the Vader bomb. But as Dane was leaving, Pete Dunne made his entrance. And Pete Dunne had a face-off with Killian Dane. Dane then raised his finger to Pete Dunne, which, good God, you should know not to do by now. And Dunne, of course, snaps Dane's fingers. Okay, I don't know if that's setting something up. I don't know what that was. But this was Pete Dunne versus Damian Priest as the main event for the night. I'm not into Damian Priest. I don't know what it is. Now, by the end of this match, I absolutely loved this match. He hooked me in for sure. Both of these guys hooked me in, but I just cannot. For whatever reason, I cannot get behind his character. I just can't. I don't know what it is. But he did win me over in this match. He is very good in the ring, so I'll give him that. They kind of cornered the ref while they were in a lockup towards the end of the match. Phenomenal near falls, great counters. This match was so fun at the end. And as the ref was ducking away, Damian Priest kicked low on Pete Dunne and then hit the Reckoning for the win. Great match. Got the heel win for Priest. Protect Pete Dunne. Good stuff. That was awesome. NXT was awesome. I think AEW won this week. I think they're going to win most weeks. Like I said, developmental versus a main roster. Their only show, really, besides Dark. But that's still, like, they're all main roster guys. There's going to always be a different feel for AEW compared to NXT. And that just gives them the edge. I don't know if this really is a war. It's, they're obviously competing head-to-head. But and WWE said this from the beginning. They're not looking to win the war. They're looking to take eyes away from it. And I think that's working. I think I'm sure there are people who are saying, yeah, I could watch AEW, but I'm a WWE guy and I want to watch NXT, or I just want to watch NXT in general. There's a lot of guys like that. I'm a huge fan of NXT, and I contemplated watching it. There may be nights where I watch NXT first instead of AEW. Who knows? It depends on the card every week, but I honestly, I don't know if I'm going to compare them anymore as far as who won. every week. I'm going to sit back and enjoy because the wrestling was phenomenal. I got to watch 4 hours of great wrestling, and it felt faster than the 3 hours of Raw. This was great. I love Wednesdays. Wednesdays are definitely my new favorite night. Wrestling was great. Both shows were great. So thank you all for listening. And watching. Let me know what you thought of AEW and NXT down in the comments below or on Twitter at Olsen2K18 or at 3Count Review. It's on one of these sides here on Twitter or on Instagram. Follow me up. And yeah, I think that's it. Merch on Redbubble. But yeah, I will see you guys for SmackDown on the next 3Count Review.
Pulling up strong, I'm need at least one. I might be too on. Wishing inside I could feel so numb. Oh, now that you're gone away, you feel it in the night. You want what's underneath. It's alright, no more lies, can't deny.